We're going to go to George W. Bush talking about God. Doing an interview with Nightline, and they asked him a number of questions about God. Now, I get two things out of these clips that we're about to share with you, and we'll start with clip number 7. One is that he's not quite as unreasonable as you might suspect, and number 2, he's exactly as dumb as you suspect. So let's start with clip number 7. Does God talk to you?
So how do you know? I mean, does God talk to you at all? Or I don't mean like. Well, I don't know what I mean.
Quit drinking. I mean, I don't hear voices. But it's like somebody said, "Do you see Lincoln's ghost here in the White House?" I said, "No, I quit drinking." But no, yeah, you could a thoughtful prayer life and one that genuinely is open and thoughtful. Yes, you can commune with God. Now, I don't hear voices, but I do feel the Spirit.
So how do you...
So I hear the voices.
Wait a minute, I thought you didn't hear the voice. Wait, let me hear that again.
So I hear the voices.
Okay, that was in reference to something else. All right, so he doesn't actually hear God going, invade Iraq, cut taxes for the rich again. Well, that's a little bit comforting. Not bad, not bad. I'll take it. He's a little less crazy than maybe some suspected. All right, Cynthia McFadden, who's interviewing him here. Let's go to clip number 8. This is a very important one. Do you take the Bible literally? Let's listen.
The Bible is an amazing book.
Is it literally true, the Bible?
Probably not.
Probably
not.
not.
I mean, the idea that... no, I'm not a literalist, but I think you can learn a lot from it.
So you can read the Bible and not take it literally. I mean, it's not inconsistent to love the Bible and to also believe in evolution, say.
Well, I think you can have both. I think evolution can... Look, you're getting me way out of my lane here, but I'm just a simple president. But I think that God created the earth, created the world. I think that the creation of the world is so mysterious it requires something as large as an Almighty. And I don't think it's incompatible with, the scientific proof that there's evolution.
All right, I got many things to say about that clip. First off, they should have asked him these questions before he became president, not as he's leaving the presidency. See, these are very relevant questions for who our president might be. Do you hear voices? I mean, does God talk to you, in a general sense, or do you think he actually whispers words into your ear? And then in this question, do you believe the Bible literally? Because that's very, very important. Because in the Bible it says that if your kids speak out against you, you should stone them to death. Now I need to know whether you believe that literally, right? And what does Bush say here? Well, probably not. But you know what? To be fair, overall, I'm kind of comforted by his answers. Now that it's too late, now that it doesn't matter anymore. But he does believe in evolution, and when it gets down to it, he says, no, I'm not a literalist. Even though he hedged it a little bit in the beginning. So, okay. But then the second part I'm not comforted by is, man, how the hell did we elect this guy? Look at the way he talks. That's, a little out of my lane. I'm just a simple president. The president shouldn't be simple. And this man is obviously simple, right? Man, we should have never elected this guy in the first place. But having said that, all right, at least he's not a literalist. That gives me some comfort. So now, here's a tough question. Do Muslims pray to the same God? It's clip number 9. I'm curious as to what his answer is going to be. Let's watch.
Do you believe that when you pray to God, that's the same God that a Muslim prays to?
I do.
That's got you in some trouble with your base.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe it does. I do believe there is an Almighty that is broad and big enough, loving enough that can encompass a lot of people. I don't think God is a narrow concept. I think it's a broad concept. I just happen to believe the way to God is through Christ. And others have different avenues toward God, and I believe we pray to the same Almighty. I do.
So the leader of the Taliban is praying to the same God?
No, I'm not so sure he's praying to a God. I think anybody murders innocent people to achieve their objective is not a religious person. They may think they're religious, and they may play like they're religious, but I don't think they are religious. I'm not playing the God I pray to, the God of peace and love. And that's one of the great ironies about this. You know, we're in a so-called religious war. I don't view this as a war of religion. I view this as a war of good, decent people of all faiths against people who murder innocent people to achieve a political objective.
I mean, does he not get the ironies at all? I mean, he mentioned irony that you pray to the God of peace and love? You started 2 wars. Okay, let's say Afghanistan is justifiable, because I think it is. And I don't think it has anything to do with God or not God, but Iraq, you believe in peace and love, and you started a war with a country that didn't attack us. I mean, but you can't start the Iraq war and then claim that you pray to the God of peace. You just can't do it. Can't do it. Now, the other part of it is, his answer doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that guy really believes he's praying to God. And he wants to start a war with you, and you really believe you're praying to God, and you want to start a war with him. I'm sure if you ask him, he'd go, no, I'm all about peace and love. It's Bush, that's the great Satan. But this knucklehead casting, the gears don't work well enough for him to process that thought. So on the one hand, he says, yeah, we're all same God. Yeah, I'm in. And on the other hand, he says, no, they're different God. They're crazy. I'm peace and love. And then, look, come on. The part that really bothers me is it's somebody who's willing to kill innocent civilians to achieve a political objective. Then they don't really believe in God. Now, in Iraq, the war that George W. Bush started, hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians died. Innocent civilians died. Why? For a political objective. But he's just not bright enough to get it. But as you see him struggling with these answers, what I said from day one is now indisputable. And in contrast to Obama, you see it even clearer. This guy is a Class A moron. And I don't say that like oh, it's a big revelation. I'm saying because it's the old question of, is he secretly smart and he has bad intent and he needs to do that bad intent and then he has this exterior of a simpleton? Or is he actually that dumb and doesn't realize what he's doing is that bad? That's an interesting question. And I've always been on the side of, he's actually dumb. He's not playing dumb. And he doesn't get that what he's done is horrible. He doesn't get the irony. And should he? Definitely. Is he responsible for his actions? No question about it. But he really believes that his actions didn't cause any innocent civilian deaths. That he didn't start any wars. That he prays to a God of peace and love. The knucklehead actually believes it. And I don't know, you take that for what it's worth, man. That might, make him worse in your eyes, better in your eyes, but it is what it is. This guy is not capable of enough, machinations in his head for that to be some sort of deception, and he actually intended something evil. He actually thinks in his dumb head that he's doing something good for the world.